and welcome to the Shelf Examination Podcast, where we examine items found on the shelves of our local library. I'm Sarah, the reference librarian here in southern Utah and a geeky guru of strange and unusual things.
And I'm Joe, the makerspace guy in southern Utah and the editor of this here podcast. So let's get into Godzilla vs. Kong, some giant monsters.
So this one takes place 5 years after King of the Monsters.
Right. It is a direct sequel to King of the Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we jump into the play-by-play, I want to get your high-level view of this movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. Should people go watch it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You think, and even going back to the old Suitmation one, you would think that Godzilla and King Kong would not go well together.
Yeah, they're from two different eras. They're from two different worlds. But
yeah, they're like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yes.
They sound unlikely, but so delicious.
And every time they get together,
it gets cooler.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you, yeah, that's kind of my take on this one. I came away from this movie going, this is going to rank very, very high. Like, this might be a new number one for me.
Ew, some of the stuff on there was so cool.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a question of, do I want to knock down the original King Kong that all of this bases itself around? But this movie honestly was, if I had to watch the original King Kong or King Kong or Godzilla versus Kong, I might choose Godzilla versus Kong. I liked it that much.
Oh,
I came away from this movie feeling that good.
I really enjoyed it.
All of that to say, this episode, this podcast is going to be full of spoilers. And if you haven't watched this movie, I might recommend you actually go
watch it before you listen to us.
Before you listen to us chatter about it. And then after you watch it, you won't have a reason to listen to us chatter about it. But
well, then you can get our take on it, I suppose.
Also, we're so charming.
Yeah, sure.
We're so charming.
And you can listen to us and go, you're completely wrong. You know, or whatever you want.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of that in this one because, remember, I just edited the Godzilla King of the Monsters, and we talked about how there were times in that movie when you just roll your eyes and just go, all right, whatever, I'm going to go.
Hollywood.
None of that.
No, I didn't have that at all this time.
There were some stupid, ridiculous things in this movie.
But you believed it.
But you believed it, and I didn't hate them, and none of it took me out.
Yeah, it never took me out where I couldn't suspend my disbelief anymore.
All of it was believable. So, all right.
So we start 5 years later, 5 years after the whole thing with Ghidorah. King Ghidorah.
And we start with King Kong.
Yes, we start with King Kong, who is on Skull Island, kind of trapped in a dome.
Right, he's being contained.
For quote-unquote his own protection.
Well, they're acknowledging that if he got out, that Godzilla would, in
probably
his
hunt him down.
Plot radar, recognize that there was another alpha out and start a fight. And so, yeah, containing him is probably... And I think that bears out because when they do bring him out later, what's the first thing that happens? We
Godzilla's
get a daggum cool fight.
You're like, no. I am king here. We're going to establish our alphaness.
Right. And we also get introduced to a little deaf girl.
Yes, who... Oh, my gosh, so cute.
She's adorable, but she's a descendant of the original denizens of Skull Island who are, as far as we all know, all dead now, except for her because the storm took over the island. I mean, there is. That's one of the things is. But all of that happened off camera. You know?
Yeah, totally. They just kind of exposition-ish it. So the island, Skull Island, is now protected, quote unquote, hard to get to because it is surrounded by a permanent storm.
Well, that was the case in the movie.
Yeah, but now it's worse.
But now the storm's moved into the island.
Yeah, it's not just surrounding surrounding the island. It is the island, and so that's part of the reason why the trap has a dome in it is so that it doesn't wash everyone away.
Also, great scene with Godzilla stripping the tree and throwing it at the dome and having the dome shatter and show us that it was the dome. Like, yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I was like, very cool.
So during the opening credits, they did that thing, which I think they've done in other movies, where they have like redacted text being redacted before your eyes. But I had the opportunity this time to actually pause and read some of the things that they were saying. And they are
ridiculous.
None of them are revealing. I was thinking they were hiding lore or information. No, the one that I wrote down was massive energy, demolish structures with sound design and radiation reached as far as Eric Maddall and
So sound design is Eric
the
Maddall.
lone fishing boat of Ethan Vander Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the lone. So basically, they're getting rid of the report so that you can see the credit.
Yes, exactly. And it's so juxtaposed with each other that when you read it in order, it's obvious where the breaks are.
Yes.
Still fun.
And I could see it. I got most of it, so after a while I stopped looking at it. It probably would have been a lot easier to tell the redaction versus the credit in a big theater setting.
Yeah.
But I missed out on that one, being able to see it in the theaters.
I don't remember if I saw this one in the theaters or not.
But I didn't have to wait till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch this one. I actually could just watch it at a normal time.
The universe was not against you.
No, King of the Monsters, man, that was rough trying to get to watch it. But this one, so much easier. But it was really a clever way to do it, and they continued it between each Monsterverse movie.
Yeah.
So continuing to tie them together.
But it's good to know that the text that they're showing is just
you don't have to figure out what it says.
Expositional news stories, and I'm not missing it. It's not like they're giving us secrets.
It's not like Monty Python's hidden brownie recipe.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that it would be lore, but hidden brownie recipe would have been.
Did you not know about that?
I have heard about this.
In the closing credits of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, there's a hidden brownie recipe.
That's funny. That's not off brand for them.
And I have friends who have made the recipe, and apparently it's pretty good.
Okay. So after the credits, we are introduced to Acme Cybernetics.
You mean Apex?
Yeah, but they are Acme.
Yeah, I swear they've got to have their mascot is a very frustrated coyote with an anvil on its head.
It's where he got all of his stuff from, and we see the CEO of this company, who is the bad guy. Like the moment that you see him,
you're like, "Yep, that's the bad guy."
That's the bad.
There was no question like last time where you're like, "Oh my gosh, the girl is the bad guy." What?
Yeah.
No, we knew who it was.
Yeah, he showed up wearing a Delgado Master Doctor Who beard and talking absolute
You were just
nonsense.
waiting for Tom Baker and his hat and scarf going by. Yeah.
This was the new take for the Master. Holy smokes!
And I loved it that they moved. They was in Pensacola, Florida. I was like, okay, so they'll blend right in with all the other Florida mans.
All the crazies.
I was like, is Pensacola the new Hollywood home of weirdness? So I just recently saw. It was really dark, so if you're not into dark movies, don't watch it. Midnight in the Switchgrass, starring Bruce Willis, and it takes place in Pensacola, and there's all kinds of weirdness going on in Pensacola.
Although it needs to be mentioned that Acme Cybernetics is all over the world.
It is. It just happens to be.
They just happen to have their Florida one in Pensacola.
Yeah, their home base is in Pensacola.
Well, their United States home base, because we later find out that they've got a home base in Hong Kong.
Of course they do.
Not Japan. Now, mind you, this is the new economy.
Yes.
Where making sure that your movie does well in Hong Kong is central to it succeeding.
Super, super important.
And so it doesn't surprise me that it's not Japan.
And
it doesn't surprise me that it is Hong Kong.
Sometimes it's easier to film in Hong Kong than it is in Tokyo.
Yeah, I believe that. Well, in this case, though, did they ever actually go to Hong Kong? Because everything was sets and CGI, and I don't think they were ever actually in Hong Kong. But the fight took place in the neon light. The final fight took place in the neon lights of Hong Kong.
Maybe they just used the same CGI background that they used for...
Tron.
No, I wasn't going to say Tron. I was going to say... Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
Which also takes place in Hong Kong.
Yeah, except that this time it was all at night and lit up like neons. I don't remember that in Pacific
destroyed,
Rim. Yeah, exactly.
Destroyed
it got destroyed by the end, but...
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. In Pacific Rim, it was already destroyed.
So what's next?
So a podcaster discovers the signal box. And I thought it was interesting because usually the old trope was the investigative reporter. So I'm like, oh, Clark Kent has now been pushed out. He's no longer up to date. You need to be a podcaster.
Here's the problem, though. Okay, a couple of problems with this guy. First of all, he's the crazy guy who's right.
Yep. Yeah, he's the crazy theorist that's always got some conspiracy going.
Yeah, and the problem is his conspiracies, I hate half of them.
Yep.
The fact that he turns out to be right makes what he says about the other stuff right. Like he hates fluorinated water. He's like tap or no tap. because fluoride makes you docile. That is a conspiracy theory that has been around since the 70s, since they started fluoridating water. And it has been proven by multiple independent researchers that not only is that not the case, but the only thing that fluoride in our water does is effectively reduce our dental bills, which is why they put it there in the first place.
Except
because
they've now taken it out in our state.
Yeah, they've taken it out in our state because, man, the big brains who run the place. You know, I'm not going to say anything. Not going to say anything.
Yeah, no, let's stay away from politics unless it's in the movie.
But yeah, the fact that Bernie is spouting every crazy conspiracy theory doesn't help his character.
No, it does not.
And I'm not happy about the fact that in the end he gets justified.
And the fact that they had him focus on things that were already proven false kind of lends it into the world not really believing what he's saying when he's talking about the kaiju.
Sure.
The Titans.
Yeah. That's right. They keep calling them Titans in this, which is honestly a better name for an American movie. But
yeah. Because people are like, what does kaiju mean? It means giant monster. So
I mean,
Titan,
it worked in Pacific Rim, but Pacific Rim was so stylish. It was style up to
come
the
on!
ears.
You had kaiju for the monsters and Jaeger, which means hunter. You
they
could
had
just call
good
them
branding until they got to the second movie and called the aliens precursors. But
but they, if you're gonna have one have a fancy name, you're gonna have the other have a fancy name. So if you want to just say giant monster, just say giant monster.
Yeah, or Titan's worse.
Or Titan is,
So
gets
yeah,
the
we
general
got
idea.
Bernie Hayes, the crazy podcast guy. Now, one thing that I thought was funny about him is he's sitting here going, I'm deep undercover and nobody knows where I am with my podcast broadcast to the world.
I was like, except everyone watching this and anyone who could pick up a signal.
Here's the thing. Now that I have a podcast,
it's a
he's
live
not
stream.
wrong. He's not wrong because nobody's listening anyways. He could say whatever we could say whatever we want on this, and nobody's listening.
But if he's live streaming it, they're gonna pick up his signal.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody didn't say, dude. Yeah, we saw you coming a mile away.
Yeah, we saw you walking.
You talk about it every day.
Yeah. Our undercover, deep, dark web people picked up on you 6 months ago.
You are naming names in every episode. You are naming us. Of course, somebody is going to pick up the phone and call us and go, hey, Acme Cybernetics, you got a mole, and here's his podcast. And you might want to look for a dude who sounds like the crazy dude who believes everything. Oh, yeah, no, hold on. Sorry, we know that guy.
We know exactly who you're talking about, yes.
So, nevertheless, though, you're right that it's now podcaster, not independent broadcaster, not independent news guy.
Yeah, you used to get the investigative reporter with the pencil behind his ear and whatever, and now you've got the guy with the
podcast
camera
mic and
the podcast mic and the GoPro and the whole 9 yards. But yeah, I was like, oh no, Clark Kent is suddenly
well, Clark Kent would be a podcaster these days. He'd just be a not crazy one. I like how they turned J.J. Jamerson into kind of a podcaster dude in the Marvel-verse.
So Nathan Lind and his Hollow Earth is back.
Yes.
Which I was excited about. They even got the actors and all that jazz, which was nice when it's in universe, because you can pull your people back in. Except the poor people.
I think we're skipping ahead.
Did I skip too far?
Yeah, because Godzilla attacked Acme.
Oh yes, Godzilla did attack Acme.
Honestly,
and it was brilliant.
It was we're not even 15 minutes into the movie.
My notes are really, really spotty because I kept getting sucked into the movie.
Yeah, it was too fun to watch. And Godzilla attacks Acme, and Bernie sees the eye did you, the first time watching this, have any idea what that eye was for?
Nope.
No, and neither did I. I will say, when it shows up later,
oh man,
I squeed more than a little bit. But I think that it was good that they dropped a hint, and then
so
it was
wasn't just
subtle.
out of the blue.
It wasn't just out of the blue, but it was subtle enough that I didn't go, wait, is that?
What was that?
What could that have been?
Rewind, fast forward, rewind, fast forward.
It should be mentioned. And again, we're going to spoil things.
Well, yeah, that's what
we are getting to Mecha Godzilla here is what we're talking about. This is such a different Mecha Godzilla than the Mecha Godzillas we've had in the past, because one, it's not a dude in a suit.
Nope. It is
So
not
they
a
were
dude in a
free
suit.
to make it look however they want.
Yep.
And they made it look very mechanic-y. Mm-hmm. I question, do you think they did as good a job on Mechagodzilla as they did on the Jaegers in Pacific Rim? Because remember, with those, they were very careful to make sure that everything had space in the shell.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they quite did that here. There was a
No.
little bit of Transformers logic going on.
Yeah, sorry. Transformer sound. You can't say the word without thinking of it. Yep. Yeah, you're better with a lower voice. But they, well, part of it with Pacific Rim is they had to make it make sense with a person inside.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to make it believable that they could get to a cockpit, that this is...
But
And they didn't have to do that with Mechagodzilla.
Well, they didn't have to do that with Pacific Rim. They didn't have to make sure that all the missiles had space in there, that everything came from a place of realness. With Mechagodzilla, I don't think they tried as hard, but
I don't think they cared.
I also didn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just fun.
No, and some, you gotta admit, Benicio, wrong, Del Toro.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But Del Toro.
Del Toro, he is very good with his designs of making them believable in a realistic sense. As in, okay, these missiles come out of his arm. Where were they stored beforehand?
Right.
They're not just.
And don't use that space for anything else.
No, it's not. It's not Optimus Prime's disappearing, reappearing trailer.
Yep.
So yeah, he and that happens in all of his movies. Pan's Labyrinth. It's in even Harry Potter 3.
Yeah, he overthinks things in ways that the fans overthink things, and it's to his credit.
It is to his credit.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
But yeah, he's brilliant director, and his attention to detail makes it easier for us to suspend our disbelief with the incredible.
Yeah.
Because he founds it in the credible.
Yeah. So as you said, now we visit Nathan Lang, and we get Nathan Lind, and we get the master.
The other one is Timon. This is Nathan Lane is Timon, among other things. Also a brilliant actor, but
Also
not
brilliant
this character.
Could you imagine? No, let's not
No,
imagine
let's
that.
not imagine.
This would have been a different movie.
I probably would have liked this character more.
The master shows up and offers him the Hollow Earth entry vehicle, or
Heaves.
Heave ho!
Yeah, HEAV, and I'm like, oh, how convenient that they just at this moment happen to have a vehicle that can take care of that can transverse the reverse gravity of the Hollow Earth.
Let's remember this for later. In order to get into the Hollow Earth, there is a gravitational inversion that happens that rips people apart. But sure enough, the master has been working on a... Okay,
now I'm going to have that in my head. For
the ACME master.
I'm going to expect TARDIS to show up at any time. Look what you did.
He realizes this. He's been working on this, and he makes something that's sturdy enough to survive the gravitational inversion.
And they found this out, that the gravitational inversion exists, because they had a previous group go through, and they died. But right before they died, conveniently, they explained what happened. How convenient.
Yeah, well, yes. I don't know how they managed to... No, you make a good point. I don't know how they managed to report on the failings...
Exactly what it was.
Exactly what it was as they were dying.
But at that point, plot convenience theater presents. I don't care. Yeah. I was still enjoying the movie.
No, it's absolutely true. I will say, though, heave is a terrible name for anything. Just don't name something after the sound you make when you throw up. And they drop Chekhov's, this thing has enough power to light up Vegas for a week. That will come into play later.
Will. It was brilliant.
So at this point, they've taken Kong out. Lind shows up, and he says, hey, we need a Titan to guide us into the Hollow Earth. We know of at least one opening in Antarctica, so let's take Kong there and he'll guide us in. And she's like, that's a terrible idea, because the moment we take him out, he's like, he's not doing that great here.
Yeah, it's true. But they're like, the minute we break him out,
bad things will happen.
Godzilla's going to hunt him down because bad things have happened before.
Yeah. And this is a cool scene. So at this point, they're transporting Godzilla, or King Kong, by boat. And we get a couple of scenes of them on the boat. We also get Mean Girls show up.
Right?
The daughter of the master shows up. And she's just me. And if
we
you
call her
didn't
Missy.
if you didn't think that he was a bad guy before,
Oh my gosh.
she cemented it.
Oh my word.
Like-
Not wrong.
There is no question that these are bad people. And when they get to reveal later that they were bad people, there will be no
shock.
surprises.
No shock.
No shock in the audience.
Man, that girl, I was like, she's the mean one from Clueless.
Yes, she's a mean rich girl. And it's...
Yeah.
I will not mourn when she gets eventually smashed by Godzilla.
This is one of those girls that if you met in high school, you ran away because you knew her and her cronies were going to rip you to shreds.
Right.
With their cute little manicures.
So at this point, King Kong is on the boat, and I love the scene where he's like picking up fish by the fistful and just eating it straight out of the ocean.
I imagine some killer whale going, hey.
Yeah, no, killer whales go for krill, so he can have the big
Killer
ones.
whales do not go for krill.
Not killer whales. It's the bigger whales, the blue whales that go for krill.
The bigger whales with the comb, yeah.
And as predicted, Godzilla shows up to pick a fight.
Shocker!
And we get...
the coolest fight on water.
Yes. When that big punch that is in the trailers, that is in everything, that just connects and so good. Everything has scale. Everything has weight. The atomic breath.
Yeah, oh man. And
from
the fact
under
that
the water.
The fact that they're on water and I mean these things are huge.
Yes.
And the waves and the wake and everything responds to their movements.
Yeah, I will say the simulation people were having a good time.
Whoever sat down in front of a fish tank, a giant fish tank, and said, "What happens if we take this plastic thing and drop it?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, we got to make sure we." That was a lot of research.
There were a couple of times, especially when the big tanker or aircraft carrier, I think it was
an aircraft carrier,
flipped back over, that I was like, "Oh, I can see some repeating water splashes." But besides that.
I don't think I was paying quite that close attention.
It was still good, and I did not... Like, they were having a good time, I was having a good time, and we got to see when the atomic breath goes and King Kong's like, uh-oh, and he jumps off of the boat.
The fact that you can have a completely CGI giant gorilla, and in his face you can see, oh crap.
Yeah, time to move.
I'll get off the roof, get off the roof, get off the roof.
That's the one. Great fight. Loved it. I also loved...
Beautifully cinematographic.
I think that the ending of this fight was a bit dumb. Godzilla is dragging King Kong under the water. King Kong is drowning. So what do? Let's drop some depth charges to disorient Godzilla.
No, wasn't it good to disorient King Kong too?
Yeah, exactly. But this somehow works. King Kong comes out, but he's so tired. And I will say, he entered this fight sedated.
He did.
So he was at a distance. I don't think that this is a fair fight for Godzilla.
No.
I don't think he deserves to win on round one.
Well, we'll call it a draw because the humans intervened.
Yeah, the humans intervened. But ultimately, they say, okay, turn off everything and play dead. And that will convince Godzilla to stop fighting.
That he won.
And that works. Now, I feel like what we had here was... this movie going to be too short if we don't come up with some dumb excuse for it to happen. I didn't roll my eyes. I was just like, that was a good fight.
I was too busy going,
I'm
that
sitting
was a
back
cool
going,
fight.
oh, yeah, baby, that was good.
Oh,
okay, no, wait, hold on. Don't. Okay, that was not the way I meant for that to sound.
Sure. I was like, really?
Oh, well, never mind.
Anyway,
So-
you were too busy being happy about the epically cool fight.
It was an epically cool fight. So at this point, we have the girl. She's gone and she's found the podcast guy, and she's teamed up with them, and she's also brought along the Wilder People kid. That's the only thing I know him from. He's delightful. He's Australian, but he's the Wilder People kid.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but that took me completely by surprise.
Well, has he been in anything else?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But that was not how I would call it.
And he's just kind of like there as comic relief. I don't think that his character ever gets redemption, except at the very end. He's the one who pours the whiskey on the console and manages to take down Mechagodzilla for just long enough for Godzilla and King Kong to tag team him to death.
Right.
But yeah, so we've got this instant connection between the girl and the guy. And here's my question. In most of these movies, we talk about the A story and the B story, the human side story and the monster side story. we didn't really have that in this movie. But is this our pretty boy and pretty girl? Because I don't want this to be pretty boy and pretty girl.
Yeah, it's the closest thing we got.
It's the closest thing that we got. But their story is not necessarily human-centric.
No.
Still,
Without the monsters, you would not have this story.
they're still very much tied to the monster story. And what they do at this point is they sneak back into ACME Labs. Apex Labs.
For those of you who's trying to keep real score, Apex Labs.
They sneak back in and they find an elevator that takes them to the sub basement.
How convenient.
How convenient. And they get onto a shipping container that has skullcrawler eggs. Skullcrawler larvae. And
like,
at this point, I wrote in my notes, I'm like, are they seriously just bringing back the skullcrawlers to have a reference to the previous movie?
Yes.
And then I scratched it out because later they used the skullcrawlers.
Yeah,
They're
was
using
useful.
them to test Mechagodzilla
The
with.
first thing I saw when I was like, oh, they're bringing it back just so they can tie it into Skull Island, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, no, we're actually having use for them. Go, you guys. Way to write that.
It was good. It was not bad. And they get into a shipping container and they get shipped in an instant to Hong Kong.
Gee, wasn't that easy?
That was super easy. Like,
and they're not eaten by the time they get there.
But at the same time, like, that's a lot of travel. And I think
especially by boat.
Especially by boat. But I think that they did a good job later of when the girl calls her dad, she's like, I'm in Hong Kong. And he's like,
what are you doing there?
Well, crap, that's where we were heading. But
you
yeah,
don't want to be
you're
there.
not supposed to be there. No, she's not. But yeah, she found a quick. I think that this company, they have a way to ship internationally practically instantly. Like if we're not
they made it over the Pacific Ocean. It was
safe
brilliant.
well, I think it's under. I think they were using the hollow earth tubes.
Yes, but still.
But it's safe for humans. I mean, I'm seeing a new avenue for business travel here.
I know, right? Forget the shuttle.
You could commute to Hong Kong daily with that sucker. I think there's a missing opportunity here. So we've got at this point, we've taken King Kong to Antarctica. And the deaf girl. Oh, we find out that King Kong can sign.
Yep.
Do we want to talk about this? There has been a lot of talk from people about how the one gorilla that did sign language, Coco, didn't really sign as much as they were advertising that she did. There was a lot of cherry picking of the footage. There was a lot of nonsense that came out of her that was not sign language, but then she did one thing that kind of looked like sign language. Like the idea that monkeys in general can learn sign language has been debunked many, many times. That said, this is a really big monkey. His brain very large. I imagine can.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm willing to let it go.
Yeah, I'm willing to let that go. He's got a little bit more compute power going.
Exactly.
But yeah, Coco is more like a toddler sign, where they know this sign. If I do this hand motion, I get this.
Yes.
It's not, I know the meaning of this word.
And that's the thing. Toddlers, my toddlers signed. I've seen other toddlers who signed. They can understand the causality between hand motion equal give me food.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Rather than, I know that this means this particular word. I just know that this action gets me what I want.
One, it's also because we learn how to move our hands before we learn to articulate with our voice. Exactly. And so it makes sense that we would use that as a means of communication.
Kong can actually carry on a conversation.
I mean,
to a point.
To a point, yeah. It's a primitive conversation.
Kind of like Rampage with The Rock.
Yes.
He could carry on conversation to a point.
To a point. And I think that was the movie where I first heard all the people making the discussion about, okay, gorillas don't really learn how to sign. Okay, yes, but we have giant gorilla now, so big brain, so can sign.
Yes.
I'm willing to let it go
to suspend my disbelief and let it go.
And let's be honest. The signing monkey in the movie Rampage, the signing monkey was not the worst part about that movie.
No, he was actually the most fun part of that.
Oh, shoot. That's a kaiju movie.
He doesn't start out as a kaiju.
No, but we end up with 3 kaijus fighting at the end.
We do.
Do we have to watch that movie?
Again?
I don't know.
I have seen it. I had a good time. Did I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed some of these? Did it take me out?
I have a feeling it would be fairly low on the ranking. Not like super low, but it would probably be around. Yeah. It would probably be around Pacific Rim Uprising area.
Probably. But we can do it if you want to.
I don't know if I want to. We'll think about it, and you guys listening may know
can
from
vote.
sound off in the
do
comments
it. Yeah,
and
in the comments say do it or please don't.
do it, you cowards. So at this point, they've got King Kong in Antarctica. She's signing to him, telling him your family might be down there, and he takes off, and they follow in the.
I'm so glad you did it because I was going to.
And we get this. We go through the gravity inversion, and it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Isn't it? They're going through the lights. Except,
actually, I was thinking more like Babylon 5, but yes.
Yeah, the jump gates.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true too. We got lots of references here for this. So, in the middle of the Earth is a jump gate, and let's remember this. In order to get to the middle of the Earth, you have to pass through the inversion, and it is a rough ride, and it will not go well, and you'll get spat out the other side with a vomit bag in your hand because you're going to need it.
Well, it's better than spaghettification.
Let's just remember this. Yeah, we haven't got that's true. But
I like that that's an actual scientific term.
And then as soon as we get into Middle Earth,
Middle Earth? Yes!
I mean, technically, it is in the middle of the Earth.
The hollow Earth.
The hollow Earth. As soon as we get into the hollow Earth.
I want to go find the hobbits.
The Shire.
Hobbits are going to Isengard.
The hobbits got eaten by Isengard down there. But we have a fight with a flyer monster.
Yes. Not Rodan, not to be confused with Rodan.
It's just a weird Quetzalcoatl-y snake
Flying thing.
And King Kong fights it, and the missiles fight it, and they fight it together, and then he rips the head off and eats it, and he's like, ooh, gross. And,
it was gross.
He's an omnivore. But then we get the Mechagodzilla scene.
Yeah.
And again, they released the skull crawlers, but then we see Mechagodzilla power up, and I was like... I squeed. I was
man.
My wife, the first time we watched this in the theaters, and this was before I had watched everything. Yeah, I did watch it in the theaters. Yeah, that's my memory. Boy, just unlocked a memory for me. The first time I watched it in the theaters, when Mechagodzilla popped up. Now, I had not watched a lot of kaiju movies before this. I had not watched a lot of the classic eras, and I still haven't watched more than like one or two classic Mechagodzilla movies, but I knew Mechagodzilla, and as soon as Mechagodzilla showed up, I grabbed my wife and like, Mechagodzilla, and she's like, what?
No, I was watching it.
I love you, honey. Thank you for grounding me.
Fortunately, my husband is just as nerdy as I am.
Yeah.
And Mechagodzilla powers up, and I admit it, I went dee 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 dee. I threw my hands in the air and did a little dee 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 dee. And my husband's like, I don't think this is Final Fantasy. I'm like, no, but it's mine. It's my Final Fantasy.
We have unlocked it. Mechagodzilla was not in the promotional materials.
Not at all.
Mechagodzilla was a surprise to us the first time.
They're really good about doing things and keeping them under wraps in the Monsterverse, I've discovered. Like, they didn't talk about Tom Hiddleston during Skull Island.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that they hint at that you... or either hint at and not really develop until it's there, or they don't even mention it.
I tell you what, if they had mentioned Mechagodzilla...
I would have probably seen it in the theater.
Yeah, I would have been all over it, but the payoff was so
brilliant.
Good.
It was brilliant.
This was a moment that
Their marketing team also needs a raise.
Went back and went, that was so good. No, not again.
No.
This movie was just satisfying, though. So now we go back to Hollow Earth, and we have some great scenes of King Kong navigating the place, of jumping off a mountain and gravity flipping, and him grabbing a mountain that's on the ceiling and stuff like that. Very well lit for a place that has no sun.
Windows? Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of bioluminescence going on here.
Yeah, I remember watching it and going, oh, this is probably where Rodan was. He just came up through is that what happened? Through the volcano?
Yeah, I can see that. That. Well, and we know that the skull crawlers came up through tubes from Hollow Earth. And they weren't there in this movie, but we do have skull crawlers in this movie. And so, yeah, obviously, this is maybe where all the Titans come from, or at least the Earthbound Titans come from. And he discovers a room that has a Kong-sized palm reader.
Yep. Convenient.
Who built that? Again, Atlanteans or something, I don't know.
The little fairies in the boat.
Must have been. Oh, I'm down with the fairies. I just want to bring the twins back.
I know, right? They sang it into existence.
I am willing to. That's my headcanon now. And once he gets inside, he finds what I'm calling the equalizer.
Right?
The big axe.
Yes.
Yes.
This is brilliant.
And he finds a throne. Kong is king on his throne.
See, he could be a King Kong without actually calling him King Kong.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
The payoff was there. And he's got his equalizer, and they find out that the equalizer charges up because it's like super irradiated down there. And at this point...
Yeah, they're like, it's super irradiation down here. I'm like, then why are none of you dying?
Yeah, exactly. They're all getting out and going, ooh, the radiation just tingles a little bit.
And I'm like, Chernobyl syndrome, anyone?
Now, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because there will be something happening. But at this point, the bad girl pulls guns on the good guys. And she pulls out her little power-gathering MacGuffin thing to scan the... Well, see, this is the thing. The whole point of their expedition was to get this power-gathering thing to the center so that it could scan the power so that they could use the power to power Mechagodzilla, because Mechagodzilla is not running at 100% without this
something that big is going to take a rather large battery.
Yes, but, they need to have it attuned properly,
Yes.
and this radiation is attuned properly, and so they need to scan some of it to attune it properly. Why wasn't this, this thing should have been R2-D2.
Right?
This thing should have had more screen time before it, because once it came on, I was like,
So cool.
What is this? I thought we were going to be taking a sample, but no, we don't have to take, we've got Wi-Fi? Okay,
That's some pretty strong signal.
yeah, first of all, and also, I wanted to. Where are we shortcutting this? We're shortcutting this because we're in the third act, and they're going to shortcut everything. Because what's the next thing that they shortcut? As soon as King Kong on his throne, with his scepter, with his equalizer, Godzilla, who is now in Hong Kong, and he's in Hong Kong because he's tracking down Mechagodzilla. But now that he's in Hong Kong, he gets like the Godzilla senses tingling. And he knows that Kong is now powered up, so he atomic blast drills into the Earth all the way to Middle Earth.
Don't you think that would... And the hobbits are blown up.
Yeah.
So that's
I
how
said
Mordor...
Middle Earth.
That's how Mordor came to be.
Hollow Earth.
I'm going to tease you.
Yeah, I deserve it. I
But
absolutely
anyway,
deserve it.
Hollow Earth... But what got me there, that was the only point where I was like, out of everything, that was what got me, was they established that if he uses his breath too much, it wears him out.
Right. That's one.
So he's blasting all the way into Hollow Earth through all of that,
The Earth. Yeah,
and,
half of the Earth.
And I'm like, isn't he going to be awfully worn out for the rest of the movie?
Right. I mean, people underestimate just how big the Earth is. Honestly, it looks like it's flat. It's so big. So he is out of breath, but also, where's the gravity inversion?
Nope.
That was such a big deal.
No, it's his atomicness.
His atomic breath makes a hole that goes through cleanly and doesn't experience the gravity inversion. Why?
He's analog. Callback humor, double points.
You win. I'm done. You win. That was amazing. It now makes sense. I can't argue. I have no argument.
He's analog.
Yeah, this point about this hole. If it was this easy to just drill down...
Why didn't they do it before?
Right?
Why did they go all the way to Antarctica?
No kidding. No, absolutely ridiculous. But again, we're shortcutting because at this point...
We're getting close to the end of the movie now.
We're getting close to the end of the movie, and the writers are like, wait, how can we get to this final battle? Let's just have Godzilla roll out the red carpet for him. And so sure enough, he takes the hole that Godzilla, lays out for him. And the mean girl's trying to escape, and this is where she gets crushed.
Gets her comeuppance.
Yeah. I love the shots through the first-person view of flying past the kaijus and past King Kong and stuff like that.
Look, we have drones.
Yeah, it looks to me like some sort of 4D VR ride or something like that. And I was like, I want to ride that ride. Here's the funny thing. I have. Not that one exactly.
I was like, what?
There is a VR 4D ride up at Fiesta Fun Center in southern Utah. And it's King Kong.
That's amazing.
And you get to ride up and down, and it's VR, and they're bumping you around and stuff like that. So if you ever want to waste $15 for two people,
Hey, it's $15 for one person to see a movie. Come on.
That's true. It's a little bit pricey for like a 4-minute ride, and they have like 4 episodes. So in the end, you're going to end up spending $60 if you want to watch all of it. Yeah, it's a little bit much. The $15 that I spent, I did not regret. It was a lot of fun. My wife didn't love it. She was okay with it, but she was like, that was a lot for like 4 minutes of ride. I'm like, honey,
It was cool.
King Kong winked at us.
You're like, the cool factor made it worth it.
For me, for one time. For one time,
once,
right?
yeah.
I would have to be in a completely different tax bracket to feel like it was worth
Right.
watching all of them.
Right? We more than a librarian paycheck.
Yeah. So let's see. At this point, and again,
We've got to tap into a certain brain.
yes, we've got to. So yeah, they find out that the way that Mechagodzilla is running is we've got a human pilot inside the skull of Ghidorah, but then we've also got a skull inside Mechagodzilla
Because he had more than one head.
because he had more than one head, and they managed to get 2 of them. We saw one of them at the end
Yep.
of the
And
last
in
movie.
my great big letters, the last note I wrote was, why did they keep his head?
Again, to make this work. What I think is funny,
So he was like remote controlled by inside the brain of the
using
skull
a
of the
psychic neural biological connection.
which they have established in previous older Godzilla movies.
Right? Yes, they have. And in previous older Godzilla movies, there were Mechagodzillas that had the bones of Kaiju inside them.
they did.
One of the Mechagodzillas had the bones of the original Godzilla that got destroyed by the oxygen bomb inside of him. And it never turned out well. These people
it's always
need to
bad.
watch their classic Godzilla.
Yeah, right? It wasn't a good idea then.
they had just done
it's
their
not a
research.
good idea now.
Yeah.
Just because you can does not mean you should.
And because of this, Ghidorah ends up taking over. Somebody's going to hate me for that pronunciation. Ghidorah ends up taking over Mechagodzilla, and Mechagodzilla is now on the loose. The whole point of Mechagodzilla was because...
And this is hearkening back to the same idea they used in the second Pacific Rim movie.
Yes, is we need to be the apex predator. We need to be the
But they're
highest,
using the brain from the kaiju to
Yeah.
try and direct the other the robots.
Yeah.
And it's always bad.
Except in this case, it was not Pacific Rim Uprising bad. It was just a
No,
bad
I mean, it's a
idea.
bad idea.
Yeah,
It's
bad
always
idea.
a bad idea. Bad.
And so we've got the fight between round 2
Fight.
between Godzilla and King Kong.
Just out of principle.
Out of principle, and I'll tell you what, the Equalizer's helping.
Yep.
Every time he gets that sucker in his hand, he gets the upper
It's
hand.
kind of like Thor with his new axe. He couldn't stand against Thanos at all with
Yeah.
just Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And then, Hela crushes it. And then he gets the axe, which is designed specifically to go against Thanos.
Yeah. And I will say, the Equalizer in Kong's hand. First of all, Kong is not sedated in this fight.
Not this time.
He's got that going for him.
And he's
But it
belated.
charges up when the atomic breath hits it.
Yep.
And so he can use it as a weapon to fight. And we get to see the shot where he charges it up as he's attacking and hits him in big explosion. And then, what's his name? Lang says, round 2 goes to Godzilla. Lind says, round 2 goes to Godzilla. Yeah, for 1 minute. For about 30 seconds until King Kong or Godzilla gets back up and knocks him down and gives him a freaking heart attack. He scratches up Kong. Like, it is brutal what happens.
It's a brutal fight.
And he would have killed Kong, but
Except
Mechagodzilla on the rampage.
the enemy of my enemy is now my friend.
Except that now King Kong is down and out, and the deaf girl's like, his heart is slowing down. I love the signs when she did that boom, 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 boom with her hands, and I was like, oh, she is so, I don't know who this actress is, but she is so cute.
Yeah, and the way they did the sign along with how she expressed it, and that's hard to do when you don't have a voice to do it for
I
you.
don't know if this actress is actually
I don't know
deaf,
either.
but she plays the part well.
But the heartbreaking emotion that she brought out as she's basically signing that he's dying.
Yeah.
Dummies,
No,
how could you do that?
She acted the heck out of that.
It was a beautiful scene. It was a beautiful scene.
And they said, well, in order to jumpstart his heart, we need enough power to light up Las Vegas for a week. Chekhov's light up Las Vegas for a week comes back out, and they put the head on his chest and blow it up just to hit him with enough electricity.
I wanted to hear Doc Brown go 1.21 gigawatts. 1.21 gigawatts.
Here's the thing. I don't think that you can jumpstart somebody's heart just by hitting them with a lot of electricity. It has to be a path through the body.
It has to be right,
right.
put in the right places. And
that said,
cool.
I did recently rewatch the original King Kong versus Godzilla from the
old
Suitmation
yes.
days. And remember in that one that they had a writing mistake. Originally, it was supposed to be the Frankenstein's monster
yes.
Kaiju. And so as a result, King Kong got charged up by electricity.
Yes.
I'm going to say that that's just
They're
how
just
this
harkening it back to that.
Yes, he gets charged up every time he gets hit by electricity because he comes up and I feel better.
Yeah, I wanted him to get hit with a bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
Bolt from the blue. But
Didn't need that, though.
But it worked okay.
Again, they presented us before it so they could present it then.
Yep.
It was good.
There's
it was
a precedent.
Payoff. They did well.
Thank you for tying it together.
Yeah. And then we get the tag team that we didn't know that we wanted. The tag team that we didn't know we were going to get in the previews.
But we were so happy we
But
did.
we were so happy for it.
It was definitely that you hate him, I hate him. Let's hate him together.
And they were, one had one arm and one had the other arm, and they were pulling. And then, Wilderberry's kid pours the gin on the console.
On the console so that Mechagodzilla can't get signals for a minute.
And then what do we get? Finish him.
Mortal Kombat!
His head off like Sub-Zero and holding it up. Oh, so good. It was so, and I love that King Kong beat Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, it was Kong that did it.
Mechagodzilla had Godzilla on the reins. Godzilla beat King Kong. King Kong beat Mechagodzilla. We got a rock, paper, scissors. But then afterwards, we see King Kong and Godzilla squaring off.
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
kind
like,
of
oh
sizing
boy,
each other up.
we're ready for round 3 here. And what's King Kong do?
Nah.
Drops the axe, lets Godzilla have the win. He doesn't, yell at him or nothing. He's just like, buddy, come on.
Yeah. You let bygones be bygones.
And it ends with the air that I breathe by the Hollies as King Kong has his new home
he
in
goes back to the Hollow
Earth.
Earth.
Yeah.
Hopefully to find his family.
It was just so many good, satisfying moments. And even on a rewatch, I was like,
this is a fun movie.
Yeah.
This is a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
Now, I will say, for me, I like King of the Monsters better.
Okay.
Not for any other reason than they got so many cool monsters into it with cool effects, and it all made sense.
There was a lot of heralding back to the classic in King of the Monsters, I will admit. However, I'm looking at the ranking here.
It wasn't quite Peanut Butter Cup,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Except
when
for Mothra.
these two
You
get
gotta have
together,
Mothra.
looking at my ranking, and I think this is one place where we diverge quite a bit, because I start with the 1933 King Kong, and I kind of start with the 1933 King Kong because none of these would exist without the 1933 King Kong. Also, the 1933 King Kong was just a good movie. There was a good A story, a good B story, good effects for the time.
Kong had a personality.
Yeah. There was a lot of things about it that weren't perfect. There were a lot of things that they tried to fix in the 2004 King Kong, but just couldn't beat the original for the way it made you feel.
And so much that they pioneered.
Yes. And I think that pioneering deserves a lot of credit.
Yes.
Absolutely it does. Then after that, we both put Godzilla 2014 on there, and then we both put Godzilla King of the Monsters on here, which are the two monsters or the two movies, one right after the other. And I said last week I almost could have put King of the Monsters above 2014, but I made some excuses. and I admit that's what I was doing. I was going, I don't want King of the Monsters to be above it. It really deserves that spot to me, but King of the 2014 had better reveals. 2014 did come before it, and the Blender animation that Suitmation, the Mutos, made me love the Mutos in retrospect even better.
Which, considering they were so poorly named,
they really were. Then after that, I've got King Kong versus Godzilla, the original Suitmation one. Now, I will say, I did go back and rewatch that one recently because when my son is wanting to watch these movies with me, and when I told him the next one that we were watching, he was like, "Do you want to watch the old one or the new one?" And I'm like, "Have you seen the old one?" He's like, "No, I haven't seen the old one." I was like, "Have you seen the new one?" He's like, "Yeah, I've seen the new one." Okay, cool. We're gonna watch the old one. So I watched the old one, and then I rewatched this one.
Right.
The old one was good. It deserves where it is on the ranking. This one is better. It is unquestionably going to be above, which automatically puts it in my top 3
Wow.
already. Where's it sitting for you?
Oh, I was going to put it under King of the Monsters and before the original Godzilla.
Yeah, the 1954 Godzilla. It's sad that is slipping down so far. But, okay, so for you...
It's still number 5 for me.
I think it's funny, though, that you're more or less taking the Godzilla Monsterverse movies and putting them in order on your list here.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose, but, Kong versus Godzilla, or it's Godzilla. Godzilla is first billing in this one, but I tell you what.
Godzilla v. Kong.
Kong just has more personality, and this was very much a Kong movie.
Well, and the next one is Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah, which I have opinions. They could have done better on that.
Yeah, help us out with the names, guys, please.
Yeah, no kidding. I will also say I don't think that was as good a movie. But here's the thing. Okay, so if I'm looking at mine, I am almost tempted to put this above the original King Kong.
What?
Yeah. If I have King Kong or Godzilla versus Kong and King Kong to watch, and I'm sitting there trying to choose which one, I don't know if I would watch it right now because I just watched it.
It would depend on the mood I'm in if I had to choose between those two. Do I want a classic story or do I want an action film?
But I definitely think that this was better than the 2014 Godzilla. The 2014 Godzilla was good. It was fine. But this was better. The fights were better. We got more of them. It was extremely good. There were no moments in this movie when I went, huh? Yeah, my eyes did not roll back in the back of my head. So for me, it is between whether I want King Kong or Godzilla versus... Man, I almost should drop it down just for the fact that I can't ever get the name right. But Godzilla versus Kong or the original 1933 King Kong. I'm going to make a bold move. It's my number 1. It's my number 1.
Bold choice.
And I mean, it's not diminishing the original King Kong from 1933. That movie still stands as revolutionary.
Yeah.
As an absolutely wonderful movie and absolutely worth a watch. I went back and rewatched it recently because I had kids who had never seen it. And they were like, this is fun. This movie's almost 100 years old and...
It's still fun.
Whippersnappers were like,
Did
that
you
was
know
cool.
that this movie was cool enough that Gary Gygax, I can't quote me that I'm saying it right.
No, that's the guy who made D&D.
Founder of D&D.
Yeah.
Created an entire D&D setting, an entire D&D module based entirely on King Kong.
The original King Kong.
The original King Kong.
Which, again, it's a great story. I think I've heard you mention this. I don't know if it made it into the podcast at any point. But
it was brilliant. And
it's a
playing
great
through
story.
it,
There's an adventure.
Yeah.
There's something to go for. Mind you, it's a woman. But nevertheless, we got a MacGuffin. And we've got something that we're trying to overcome.
It was so much fun to play, by the way.
And we have a monster that you can't defeat.
Nope.
Not without leveling up significantly. Yeah, I could see this 100. It's
just great.
A great, and that's why it's
great because someone in my party got her arm cut off while we were on the island.
Okay.
And she's like, "No, there are people out there who know what I taste like." Because in the original King Kong, they were cannibals.
Oh yeah. Oh. That's true though. They were.
So she's like, "Now they know what I taste like. They're gonna come after me if they thought I was tasty."
I don't know what I taste like.
I don't want to know what I taste like.
That's a good point. So there we go. Very, very high for both of us. I think this is an A-tier movie.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
The battle on the boats, that just made it for me.
And the fact that was the first fight between them, the second major kaiju fight in them, and this movie did not make you wait for the kaiju.
No, they were
at all. There was not a whole lot of futzing around with the human story. And don't get me wrong, the human story can be good. But let's go back to the original King Kong. in the original 1933 King Kong, we spent some time establishing the characters, establishing pretty boy, establishing pretty girl, and speed running the enemies to lovers trope.
Yeah, very fast.
And then we got to the island in like 15 minutes.
Yep.
No time was wasted, and it was to its credit that they both had a solid story.
Because it would have been easier, especially at that time, to reduce the amount of time you see the giant monkey.
Yeah,
and the dinosaurs.
Spend less on the effects and spend more time on the people. No, they didn't do that.
They did not do that.
And it was to their credit that they didn't do that. And in this movie, they didn't do that. We got Kaijus in number one and everything tied back into it. Like I said, it didn't have the standard A-B story in Godzilla versus Kong. And I almost think that was to its credit. It was great.
Nice.
So, but there we go. That's this movie. Next week, we have the next Monsterverse movie, Godzilla X King Kong. And then after that, it's Godzilla -1.
Unless we work Rampage in there somewhere.
Oh, listen.
If someone says do it, tell us we're cowards and to do it.
Honestly,
do it.
if we get one comment, meaning that people are watching this show
or listening or something
that says to do it, we have to do it because that is 100% of our audience.
Whom we love and appreciate. Whoever you are, we adore you.
We absolutely do. That's not what this was made for, but you always make these kind of hoping that someone will listen. And you never know if somebody does. And I'll tell you the truth, the numbers right now are not great.
That's okay.
I did go through and rework some of the thumbnails. While I was making the thumbnails for the YouTube videos, there were a couple of times I'm looking through them and they're so dark that they're hard to distinguish one from the other. And I was trying to feature the kaijus. I went back and reworked some of them to feature the human characters because they just eye pop better. And playing the game on YouTube is how you YouTube. It's the way it is. But I think we can call that here. I'm looking forward to the next movie. Yeah.
So if you like this podcast, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, maybe a comment, make the algorithms like us more. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's kind of it for this video. I'm Joe.
And I'm Sarah.
And we invite you to do some shelf examination of your own at your local library. See you next time.